You're Graham Souness, aren't you?
Yeah.
You look like me.
All right.
Now it was the turn of Graham Souness, who'd left the club as a player a year before the Heysel tragedy and had success as Rangers manager.
Well, of course, everyone was delighted when Graham Souness came because it was a Liverpool promotion.
Souness! Souness takes the game behind the defence and gets in!
He was distanced from the disaster. He come in and restore a sense of perspective.
A lot was changing in terms of the food, the diet, the nutrition, which was all coming to football anyway.
Liverpool were renowned as the biggest drinkers in the league.
They said, you live your life how you want to live your life. You're going to be hungover, you be hungover, but you train properly. Yeah.
And having been part of it, and there were still players who knew he was part of it there, he wanted to change it and stop it. Stop them getting blind drunk every night. They didn't like it.
I think it was actually probably too early in his managerial career because he came to Liverpool and he let one or two players go too early.
When I was a player, there was only one club to play for. When someone comes to me and says, well, I'd rather be somewhere else, that was it, it was black and white, it was finished, let's go. Let's get them out the door as quickly as possible. That was a big mistake I made.
One of the things Liverpool did really well over the years, they'd always buy from a position of strength, they'd always bring in new players when they were successful. After Hillsborough, they lost the way in that area as well.
And it got to the stage whereby the only two senior players left who had been there were me and Rushy. So you had a lot of young players and a lot of new players coming in. So the Liverpool way wasn't there anymore.
Performances on the pitch began to suffer. Liverpool were no longer title contenders, though they did win the FA Cup in 1992.
Thomas through the middle again. Michael Thomas. Rush. 2-0 Liverpool. Liverpool win the FA Cup for the fifth time. And it then Centeno year as well.
The priorities as always for Liverpool Football Club will be the push of the Championship next season. And from that point of view, they had a bad season this season. They finished 6th.
What struck me was, yes, okay, we're losing games and from a winning mentality point of view, but more importantly, things that were happening in training. And that was a problem at Liverpool, the way we were preparing Monday to Friday. And in many respects, to be fair to Graham, a lot of it then became, if we lost, who's going to get the blame?
His commitment and his passion for Liverpool is unbelievable. But because he's committed and passionate about Liverpool, it doesn't mean he's the right guy to run the team.
He said he loves Liverpool, okay. So if he does, he should go.
It wasn't a nice atmosphere towards the end. It was a very conflicting and confrontational atmosphere.
By tradition, Liverpool had always stood by their managers, but poor league performances, compounded with an FA Cup defeat to Division 1 side Bristol City, put an end to all that.
Great delight for them, but you just wonder what this might have done to Liverpool's season.
I am extremely sorry to have to announce that Graham Souness has offered his resignation from the post of team manager. The results in the league and the domestic European Cup competitions have been well below what is expected by the club and the supporters.
The dawn of the Premier League in 1992 heralded a glitzy, modern, more brand-aware world for football.
It's a chance really to get the structure of professional football right for the next 100 years. We'll never have another opportunity like this. I think in some ways Liverpool got left behind off the pitch, with the riches that came into the Premier League. Manchester United, for example, ended up as a listed company just when there was a bit of a revolution off the pitch, and maybe Liverpool got caught a little bit napping in that sense.
Not only were United stealing a march off the pitch, they were miles ahead on it. Their great red drought was being washed away by a crop of talented youngsters and a very modest Frenchman. They won trophy after trophy, and it was all masterminded by their own Scottish alchemist, Sir Alex Ferguson. Liverpool's strategy to combat all of this change was to do exactly what they'd always done. They promoted Roy Evans from assistant to manager.
that's, I suppose, it's the same word, back to basics, I suppose, in a way. But maybe that's the way we should be going.
I think it would be silly to say, well, I've taken the job and now I'd be afraid of it. I think it's nice to have your own destiny in your own hands. And then I went home and thought, oh, blimey, I'm just said I'm going to be managing Liverpool. At the end of the day, everything now is down to me, I suppose. So for the first week or so, you think, oh, God, what's this going to be like?
Okay.
All right. Don't start off and think, well, Liverpool are on fire.
No.
Evans inherited Liverpool's own crop of brilliant young players. Steve McManaman, Jamie Redknapp, and a superstar local striker.
Robbie Fowler, it's 3!
I loved him as a manager. The belief he instilled into the players was, I think, was quite frightening.
McManaman, Fowler, McManaman, it's a glorious goal!
No qualms at all with Roy Evans. We got on really well. And of course, he gave me my debut, put a lot of faith in me.
Evans reinstated the Liverpool tradition of having fun off the pitch.
Socially, them days, the players could go out occasionally and have a drink. I had no problem with that.
I didn't really take much notice of, what the press were saying about, that they go out drinking and things like that. It was like, come on, we're having a lad's day out, we're all going to the races, and you had to go, it wasn't sort of an option.
The Spice Boys, they certainly never packed away the sort of number of pints that, the predecessors did, but they were into a different sort of lifestyle.
We obviously went out and we enjoyed ourselves, but we went out and enjoyed ourselves at the right time. I think the fact is that we never won the league, but it wasn't through the lack of trying or the want of trying. We were just a little bit unfortunate that there was another team just down the road who were probably slightly better than us.
Well, that suits those other. See the pockets there, look at the back of the bag.
I mean, I won't throw the blame on anyone, but at the time, David James was a model for Armani. I don't think we were the first team who's ever wore dodgy suits.